Monster Integration by N1. Chapter 141 Mystic Medicine 2. Are you really going to eat it? Haven't you heard when he said it hurts like hell? Jill shouted as she saw her brother about to eat the part-mutated Treyant's heart. She had been really scared of listening to my experience. Relax, I already have my mana purity at 91% and I am sure this thing is nothing compared to what I had experienced in my training. He said with a confident smile and popped that piece of mutated Treyant's heart in his mouth. I wanted to give him advice, but when he mentioned that word training with that confident smile, I decided against giving it. Let him experience the pain of hell. My advice was that he and his monsters completely opened their mind to each other so they could share the pain. First second there no change in his expression, but next second his expression took a wide turn, and second after that she started whimpering. His expression looked like he is in extreme pain. Like burning alive in fire. Is this normal? Jill asked in a scared voice, seeing her brother's expression and listening to his whimpers. Even she got scared a little. He is fine, I collapsed and next second I ate it, I said, but just as I finished my sentence, William began to fall. It is a good thing that Jill had swift speed, if not for that he would have definitely fallen on the floor. Stay away from his hands, I warned as Jill is carefully laying her brother on the bed. She heeded my advice and kept herself away from her brother's hands. I still remember how hard I gripped my hand that they started bleeding. William still looked quite better condition than me, he at least looked quite stable. His whimpering grew louder as time passed, but other than that I see no sign of him losing control and screaming. More and more sweat started to ooze from his body and veins on his body became visible. He is in extreme pain, but he controlling it well, and the whimpering of his that had become louder, now became under control and stable. I am completely shocked seeing this. To control pain at this extent is completely impossible for me. As time passed, I become more and more shocked as his whimpering completely stopped and so his occasionally squirming. When anyone saw him from afar they will think he is just sleeping. Only after they take a closer look at him, they will know he's still in much pain, as his expressions clearly show how much pain he is feeling. I could not be this calm under that immense pain. Whatever training that he mentioned must be really painful and hard, to him to be able to remain this calm. Time passed by as we kept watch on William. In the past 20 minutes there no change in William's condition. As we were watching, a slight red smoke coming out of William's, and soon it started to come out his whole body. The thickest smoke coming from his hearing. Now, it really looked like William is burning. It just feels the same when the log of wood is burned. Is this normal? She asked worriedly. I shook her. I don't know, my eyes were closed and forgot to record it, I answered. Hearing the answer she didn't like any more question. The red smoke slowly stopped coming out of William after a few minutes. He should be able to wake up soon, I said, seeing it been little over 35 minutes since Willem had eaten the piece. We waited silently him to wake up. It's at 42nd minute his fingers begin to twitch and soon after he opened his eyes. His eyes are red and he looks very tired. Brother, how are you feeling? She said as she quickly went close to him, helping him sit up. I am feeling fine. That was the most painful thing I've ever experienced, but it also brought me a lot of benefits. Jail. He suddenly stopped mid-sentence and closed his eyes suddenly. Jill and I confused about seeing this. She is just about to shake her brother when we sensed a spike in William's aura. He is leveling up. Jill shouted excitedly as she sensed her brother leveling up. About time, I said in my mind. From the first day I met William, he has always been at mid-level of corporal stage. Most of the people I know level up least once ever since they entered this realm. William is one of the few who hadn't seen the level up till now. You should sit comfortably, it will take some time, said Jill as she sat back on her bed. I was a little confused by this but decided not to ask a question. I will know when the time to come. I sat on the chair that in the corner of the tent and opened the folder of Fire Strike's skill and started to study it. My eyes became shiny as I started to read it. I had already understood its basic by heart and I don't think I will have a problem activating this skill. This skill looks simple but its execution is very complicated. One has to transfer mana through a complicated network of veins to activate it. If not for me to have familiarity with mana veins because of supreme combat exercise, if not for that, I would have taken several days to activate it properly. 15 minutes passed, but there is no change in William's condition except for his aura is rising. Normally it would take 15 minutes for regular Evolver to level L up, but looking at the rising aura of William, it will take some time. Time passed as I passed the time studying the skill. After 15 minutes William aura reached the peak corporal level. If he goes higher, he will directly enter the sergeant stage. It should be over soon, I said in my mind, but as I wait for him to complete his leveling up, I found that his aura stops rising and started converging. It is becoming denser every second. When I look at Jill, I found there is no surprise in eyes. I stopped reading and wholly concentrate my mind on converging aura. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, his aura getting denser and denser to the point approaching near to the aura of Rachel and Max. I only sensed this dense corporal aura from Rachel and Max. Any other peak corporal stage can't reach near it, but now William's aura approaching that level. It keeps getting denser and denser, and only Henai his aura will be at the same level that of Max and Rachel. His aura stopped converging. His aura just stopped short in approaching that of Max and Rachel's level. William slowly opens his eyes and then suddenly started laughing like a madman. Ha 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 ha, I did it, I finally reached it. Chapter 142 Mystic Medicine 3. Ha 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 ha, I did it, I finally succeeded. William laughs loudly and shouted. Is he went mad? I thought, looking how loudly and crazily he laughing, he really looks like he lost his mind. What happened to your brother? I asked Jill as William is still laughing loudly. He is too happy, she said sheepishly as waited for her brother to calm down. A few seconds later his mad laughter died down as he wipes down tears that streaked on his face. Thank you, Michael, this mystical medicine had saved me a few months of grueling hard work. I will remember this favor, he said. I wanted to say it's okay, but I just smiled at his mention of the favor. Anything I will say will be demeaning. If you don't mind me asking, are you now as powerful as Max and Rachel? I asked. I know this is little personal, but I wanted to ask it ever since I sensed that dense corporal level aura. I am currently very close to their level and will be able to reach their level in a month or two, he said smilingly. I knew that already, but I was still shocked hearing this. What did it mean reaching the level of Max and Rachel? Their power is the highest one could reach their level. They could kill thousands of B-grade monsters of the same level as them without using any skill. They represent the peak power of their level and would be easily able to kill tens of sergeant level evolves and probably fight equally against those at master stage. The only ones I can think that could surpass them are those I met from the central continent, or maybe they are also the same level as them. It doesn't look as painful as Michael, right brother? Said Jill as she picked up a piece of heart. You are right. It is not as painful as Michael described. If you follow certain tricks, you will definitely able to bear this pain, said Michael with a confident smile. I can tell he is lying through his teeth and about to bust his lie when he motioned me with his eye to stay quiet. I confident in my little sister, you can definitely endure the pain, and let me tell you, if you are able to endure this pain without shouting, then you will be 80 ready to take the test for Super Elite, he said to his sister. His voice is so smooth. If not for I experienced that pain, I would have surely thought he telling the truth. Snort. You don't have to sugarcoat it, I know you are lying, Jill said snortingly as she played with the piece of Traiant heart in her hand. Now tell me all the tricks and tips, I am going to eat it, she said both to me and William. I and William started to tell all our experience and gave her tips. 15 minutes later, she made all the preparation, and in reality, she looked quite funny. She wore gloves in her hands, her legs and arms are hugging the big stuffed toy which she had taken out with a red face. She looked very funny in this get-up that her brother is laughing without pause and me also barely able to control her laughter. Jill had shed a lot of her baby fat in these 10 days, but her cheeks are still looked quite chubby, and that made her looked very cute while hugging her soft toy. Don't laugh, she said angrily as she saw smile both of our faces. All right, we will not laugh. Now little sister, open your mouth, said William in a quite exaggerated fashion. Jill looked at him angrily, but she opened her mouth as mutated Treant's heart in William's hand. Remember to circulate supreme combat exercise, this a golden chance you will hardly have, said William, and put piece of Treant's heart in Jill's mouth swiftly without giving her the heads up. She looked at William angrily and wanted to say something, but she stopped as she opened her mouth to speak and bite her stuffed toy hard to endure the pain. I don't know if she able to endure or not, but I hope she does. I walked back to the corner chair and started to study the skill again, but I now and then cast a look at Jill. She is making whimpering noises and squirming with that stuffed toy, but it did not look she will make a noise. William had prepared a makeshift gag for her. If she started to scream, then he will gag her forcefully. As I am studying, one thing is kept bothering me. It's a question that I wanted to ask, but it is related to the secret of their organization. No matter how much I try, I can't seem to suppress it. Do you want to ask me something? William asked suddenly. How do you know? I asked. He caught me quite unprepared asking me this question. You have this struggle on your face, he states. I try to answer it if it's not any major secret, he said with a smile. Why is there so much difference between elites and super elites of your organizations? I asked. I can guess some basics, but I wanted to know details about it if possible. This is a top secret, but I'll let in on some details, he said mysteriously. There is a vast difference between elite and super elite. One can become an elite member if one works hard enough, but to become the supreme elite, one needs much more than that, he said. In the top 7 organizations, and there won't be more than 10 super elites in each organization. It's not because of resources. There is no limit to resources in a top organization. The criteria to become to the super elite is huge, he stated. Chapter 143 William I. As you have seen, there is a vast difference between elite and super elite. To super elites, those who are not super elite are akin to ants, he said. All he said rang true in my mind. Within the same level, those who are not super elite are ants. I can't tell you exactly what made them stronger, but I can't tell you that super elites have something in them that others don't. What super elites have that others don't? I really want to know, but it's secret of their organization. I had already noticed that Rachel, Max, and William have some type of different feel to their mana. It's like it is laced with something that makes it more stronger and lethal. There is another type of people between elites and super elites. They are commonly known as mid-elites. These people are the one who pass the criteria of super elites while not able to pass the full training of super elites, but they still have a chance to become super elites. Maya is one of them, he said. And one more thing you should know, that all mid-elites and super elites are only using 50% of their power, as another half our power is sealed, he said lastly. Just 50%? This is fucking insane. I thought they have some power in reserve, but never thought that they are on using 50%. I have a way to underestimate the power of these organizations. They are more powerful than I thought. One thing I concur from listening to William's training is that simple hard work is not enough. One will also need some unique resources that only organizations have. William didn't talk much after that, as kept all his concentration on his sister. Jill is whimpering loudly, and there is even red smoke coming off her. It looks like we'll be able to hold on. Time passed by, and every second Jill whimpering becomes louder and louder and louder. One time I felt that she will really scream out, but she held on. Finally, after a few minutes, she finally opened her eyes and said, "Fuck. I do not want to experience this pain ever again." William and I both smiled hearing that. When I opened my eyes earlier after experiencing such pain, I just never wanted to experience it ever again. What purity did your mana reached? Asked William after his become clear-minded. 90.3%. Jill said excitedly. I can understand her excitement. The mana at 90% above purity is at a whole new level. If my previous mana could support only one skill use of 9 Raging Tides, now I could easily activate 9 Raging Tides 2 times without drinking mana potions. Michael, do you have another piece of that mystic medicine? Michael asked suddenly. I didn't say anything for a while, but after some thinking, I nodded hesitantly. Snort. Your little girlfriend is already at peak of corporal stage. This mystical medicine will not have much effect on her. Jill said with a snort. You are right, although this medicine won't help her much in mana purity, it might help her broke that straw, said Michael. Hearing this, Jill became quite serious. Which straw is she on? Jill asked seriously. I am not understanding their language, but it looks quite serious. The last one, replied William, hearing that her expression turned more serious. She really told you that? Asked Jill again. William nodded with solemnness. They both were silent for some time before William turning to me. Michael, I will not take advantage of you, I will pay a market price. He said. I felt a little relieved, although his sister is my good friend, and for that, I had given them 2 for free, but I had the plan to sell after keeping some for my family. It would have really pained my heart to give another one free. How much? Come out of my mouth before I could control myself. I don't know the correct price, but the price you will get is above million. I will transfer it to your account after we get out of this realm. I got so startled that I nearly fell. I also thought I will get near million selling all 9 portion I have. I never thought I will get million for each portion. Do you want it now or tomorrow? I asked, as it's already been late night. Now, would be fine, said William excitedly, which made Jill give a snort. You are really hopeless for that girl, said Jill annoyingly. William didn't mind and just smiled at his sister. Okay. I will bring it back from the tent in a minute, I said, and left them a tent. I've already thought selling some of the portions of mystical medicine and all the herbs I got in the forest to Jim. I will get an estimate from him for mystical medicine to see if his price same, William said, and will sell to one who offers the highest price. Thinking that, I walk excitedly, dreaming about a shitload of money I am going to earn after I get out of this realm. On the way to my tent, I kept hearing a faint banging sound. I look around to see hundreds of monsters are banging against the blue force field. I looked at them with interest, as this is the first time bipedal monsters are attacking them. It is quite a normal 100-200 monsters attacking the force field. They attack every day, night, and Rachel clears them every morning. They looked quite fearsome as they kept attacking insistently, but they never able to produce a more than ripple from the force field. I can't see what type of monster are they, as I could only see the indistinct figure of the bipedal monster. Only taking a few glances, I quickly walked to my tent. I had mystical medicine stored in my storage, but I don't want it to show in front of others. I took out the exquisite box from my storage and removed the piece of mystical medicine from it. Taking in my palm, I walked back to William tents, gave to him. Just as he received it in his, he bolted toward his girlfriend's tent, much Jill annoyance. After some taking will Jill, I also left for my tent, as it is already late and I have to wake up early tomorrow. Chapter 144, William II. What the fucking hell is this? I gasped, seeing the scene in front of me. Not only me, but hundreds of people are seeing this in exclamation and fear. It was their loud shouts and shouts that woke me from my heavy sleep. The sky hadn't brightened yet, but I could see rows and rows of monsters to a range of my eyes. There is no end to them. Currently, there are more than 1,000 minsters attacking them at the same time, and behind them also thousands and thousands of monsters. Every attack of them seemed forceful, producing the ripple, and now there are thousands of ripple every moment. It is not just our camp, but Max's camp that beside us also besieged by monsters. This is not a simple group of monsters, but a horde, and its strength and quantity looked more powerful than the Treant. The monsters looked fearsome, as if came out of a nightmare. They are bipedal hog monster, about 13-meter average in height. The biggest hog minsters are about 17 to 18 tall. They have big pig head, and their sharp tusks could be seen as they elongated from their mouth. The funny thing about them is their slightly pink buffy bodies, which would have them quite cute to look, but instead, it had the opposite effect, making them look fearsome. How do you feel? I asked Jill as I saw come beside me. Yesterday, I definitely would have felt scared, but now I didn't think I have to feel scared of them, she said with confidence. I nodded. Her strength must have increased a lot, except for the new skill she can practice with her mana purity. There is also supreme combat seal she must have created. All in all, with all her abilities increased, she will easily able to fight against this monster with her speed as a boon. She is not the only one whose abilities increased. I also have the confidence to deal with the monsters ahead of me. The main reason for my confidence is my night grade skill. I am quite confident in dealing with monsters ahead of with the aid of my night grade skill and extra seal I created yesterday. I watch for a while before going back to my tent as there are still 2 hours before we leave the camp. I am not much worried about Minster horde outside. Rachel will think of something to counter them, and now there is even William who is very close to Max and Rachel in power. Even if this horse is overwhelming, it's still Mall horde which will have more or less 5,000 Minsters. There are many grades of hordes, but this realm's monsters most can only organize grade 1 or grade 2 horde if the monster leader is powerful. Soon the time of lunch came, normally this even early breakfast, but in this realm, we have to eat lunch at breakfast time. I deactivated my tent put and put it back into the backpack before walking toward the center of him. The camp's atmosphere is little somber as monsters attacking in the full force. Everyone is eating silently. I took my plate and walked toward the Jill who was eating with her. We didn't talk and eat silently, and after finish eating, we waited silently for the instruction. William, who was taking with us, left after seeing time in his holowatch. He walked toward Rachel directly and started to talk with her softly. I look at Jill in askance, but she didn't say to me anything. After talking to Rachel, William walks toward the force field. A small space opened in the force field enough for him to pass. Rachel is long-range weapon user and quite effortlessly control the battlefield and save people, but Max is short-range weapon user and it is hard for him to control the battlefield, she said. Seeing my brother has reached the level of super elite, Max requested him to his camp to manage the battlefield as both of our camps will strategically open to fighting the monsters, she said. As I listening to Jill, I am also looking at William who is going out from the small opening opened by Rachel. Monsters roared as they saw him coming out camp and are ready to attack at any moment. Williams reassuringly walks out of force field entrance. He did not even activate his weapon. Everyone has their eyes trained on him, trying to figure out why Rachel sending him out of camp, and they become even more interested in seeing his relaxed pace. Tens of monsters pounced on him, seeing him coming out of camp. Seeing this, William is still quite relaxed. I am also very interested in seeing William's strength. Till now William had always hidden his strength, and now he entered the boundary of the super elite, he became even more powerful. I really want to see what he will do against this many monsters attacking him. He didn't stop, seeing Monster Hog's attack is only half-meter away from him. As the monsters got close, a faint blue mist had started to release from William's body. The monsters ignored faint blue mist and continued to attack, but as their attack about to reach, a change occurred. I saw monster attacking William, but he leisurely wanking without care for monsters. My heart skipped seeing monsters attack about to land on him and unconsciously about shout when I saw monsters froze on the spot. All the monsters that come in contact with blue mist froze in the spot. As William kept walking toward the Williams camp, the monsters kept freezing. I thought that the monster will come out of freeze after a few seconds, but they suddenly started shattering into the pieces. This shocked me to the core. I've way too underestimates these super elites. Once one capability reached the super elite, their power would reach a completely different level. By the time William reached the max camp, William had killed hundreds of monsters by freezing them with his mist. His show of power isn't least bit inferior to Rachel and Max. People were shocked the same way when they saw Rachel and Max's true power. Chapter 145 Fire Strike Eye. After 5 minutes, both camp will open quarter of the force field for the monster to come in, Rachel said. After William left for Max camp, Rachel started to give orders. Please follow the direction given to you for the formation, and those who will create a ruckus will be punished, she announced. I don't why Rachel have to be serious all the time, she could just chill a little, said Jill softly. I wanted to ask her to keep quiet but stopped myself, seeing now that she bother became a super elite. Even if Rachel heard, she won't be able to do anything, much less anyone else. Soon Rachel started to give us it's just simple tips to fight in the enclosed space safely and lethally. Rachel said that she is only going to open a quarter of the camp so the monster could come in. I was a little confused why they opening quarter of the force field, as this quite big entrance and thousands of monster could come in a minute and it would be really hard to fight against them even if Rachel helped. If we opened only 10% of the force field, very few monsters could come and we could easily finish, but as I thought that, the answer to that quickly come in my mind. If we only open 10% of the force field, it would be quite easy to kill the monster, but will take a lot of time and even a day wouldn't be enough. Opening quarter if force field will bring a lot of monsters, but it also gives chance everybody to fight, and fight will finish quickly and we could swiftly travel toward the exit of this realm. Be ready, the force field will open in 10 seconds, said Rachel from our back. Unlike other times, this time Rachel is staying behind. This is half-enclosed space, perfect for Archer like her. In this half-enclosed space, she could easily kill any monster she wants from the high point, and if monster got closer to her she could easily escape through force field as she has control over it, but I didn't think her close combat abilities are so bad that she could not defend against them, and then there is her monster which she did take out till now. Seconds started to tick by and I also activated my weapons. I am really excited to fight as I want to test my abilities against this monster. These hog monsters look as attack and defense type monster than speed and agility. Although they have less agility compared to other B-grade monster, but they still very fast compared to another monster of the same level. They come. Rachel shouted and force field went down, thousands of monsters stormed inside with their frightening grunts. Without waiting for anyone, Rachel started to shoot down arrow, every arrow hers will kill the monster. Snort. The monster snorted loudly and kept running toward us, and we also met them halfway. I quickly picked up an initial level specialist grade monster and ran toward it. Grunt, it grunted loudly and attacked me with a gained fist. Seeing powerful fists are coming toward me, I activated my boots and dodged. Its fist is double size of me and its arms are many large. It has both range and power. If it has the speed to match with it, this monsters would definitely have able enter higher B grade. I ducked its fist and swing my sword up with my full power toward its arm. Chong. My sword had struck against its arm, but other than making a barely visible scratch, it didn't do anything to it. My attack didn't do anything to it, but it sure annoyed it. Grunt. It grunted loudly and launched a kick. Seeing the kick coming, I took a small dodge sideways, effectively avoiding its attack. Thank God I created another seal of supreme combat exercise which gave me small enhancement in my abilities, otherwise it would have been really dodging its enormous leg at such close range. Still, I had to circulate the 18th move of supreme combat exercise to dodge it. Barely a minute had passed since the fight started, but I already reached the 18th move of supreme combat exercise. Because of heart-wrenching pain I experienced yesterday, I now became more tolerant to pain and I am confident I will create the 5th seal in 1 or 2 days. I keep fighting it for a few minutes, knowing its strength and weakness. If this monsters fighting it, one thing I've come to know that it has the hardest defense of all the monsters I've fought. One had to have a very good skill or very good physical or material ability to injure it. I hadn't used my skill set. My plan is that to first know all the strength and weakness of the monster before using all my strength. Currently, because of Rachel, the monster horde is in control and no series of injuries or death occurred, but it will change soon. I want to completely know the monster before killing it, as I have killed tens of these monster, and that time I won't have to think about its weakness. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I shouted and activated the power of all 3 tides at the same time. Now that I completely know all of its strength and weakness, I'm pretty sure my attack land on the perfect spot. Dodging its giant fists, I ducked and ran forward before taking staring jump towards its heart. Grunt. It grunted and wanted to strike its big head against my body, but before it could do that my sword had already reached its heart. Patch. I was shocked that my sword has barely entered an inch inside. It failed to penetrate even an inch of its skin. Without wasting time, I backflip in midair using the monster's body and my sword as leverage. As I landed, I saw the monster coming toward in stark anger in his eyes. Without flustering, seeing monster very close to me, I activated my skill again. First tide. Second tide. I shouted, and with the power of skill coursing through my veins, I dodge its close charge. With me creating the 4th seal, I can use my skill 2 consecutive without any side effects. As the power of skill still coursing through my veins, I quickly removed the potion bottles from my pocket and drank it. I will need a lot of mana for what I am going to do next. I kept fighting with the monster hog till mana in my central reserve had reached 100%. First tide. Second tide. I activate the 2 tides and put some distance between Minster as this skill is long range and needs some time to activate. Fire strike. I shouted and started to circulate mana with my ability according to skill's directions. I started to hot all over my body as mana circulated through specific circulation. This night grade skill can only use fire ability user as it strikes down concentrated bolts of fire. Soon extremely concentrated silver fire spread into my sword from my palm. It became more concentrated in my sword, become not longer than 2 inches. As silver fire bolt reaches the end of my sword, its speed suddenly increased and it released from my sword like a bullet toward the incoming monsters which only a meter away from me. Chapter 146 Fire Strike 2. He silver bolt of concentrated fire shot toward the incoming monster hog. The silver bolt of the fire looked very shiny as it pierces the air as it aims toward the monster's head. The bolt is traveling through the air very fast, but to me, it looked very slow due to the excitement. I am little surprised though, seeing a lone bolt of fire shooting through my sword. After reading the skill's description, I thought my sword, at least would release 5 to 6 bolts of concentrated fire, but it had released just 1. From what it read, the number of fire bolts depends upon mana and quality of the fire ability. I have enough mana to produce 4 to 5 bolts, but my fire quality is lowest. Probably this is the reason my sword had only released a single bolt of concentrated mana fire. The monster looked alarmed as fire bolt reached near its nose in a moment, but it couldn't do anything about it. Poochie. Firebolt passed through the monster head through its nose while the monster is wide eyes as it loses the momentum. Thud, its giant body fell directly in front of me, but I was able to react a bit due to the weakness and feeling. Without wasting time, I quickly took out a piece of Treant heart from my pocket and popped in my mouth. Only when its mana refreshing sensation had spread in my body, did I feel good enough to move my body as mana started to enter my refinement engine. The Fire Strike skill that I had just used took nearly 90% of my mana, making me extremely tired in second. This skill is extremely lethal, but it also takes way too much of mana. It is not suitable for the initial level specialist grade evolver like me to use in crowded fights like this. If not for I have Treant's heart as insurance, I would have used this skill as last resort. It takes minutes to digest normal mana potions, but it only takes a few seconds by Treant's heart. Seeing no monsters are near me, I looked at Monster Hog that I had just killed. Except for the small hole in his nose there are no injuries on its body. Looked like my mana bolt earlier had melted its whole damn brain. I would have removed the core from its body, but I don't think I have the ability to do that, and there are lots of monsters here. As I was observing a body, I felt monster is coming toward me. Without looking I started circulating Fire Strike without even looking at the monster. This time being familiar, I didn't get the surprised feeling hot sensation and wholly concentrated on taking an aim at monster's head which is coming toward me with Fury's expression. Like concentrated silver fire traveled to my sword from my palm and converted into the firebolt which shot toward the monster like a bullet. Poochie. The firebolt had pierced the monster's head. This time my aim is little better as it pierced from space above the nose. Thud. The monster body fell with a thud not far away from me. I first eat the piece of Treant heart before walking toward the monster. I am in awe of the power of this skill. Just one move, I just need the one move to kill a B-grade monster. The skill power is so great that it didn't feel any obstruction passing through the monster head, and there is even little energy remains to come out of its head. This is the real difference between Night grade skill and grade 1 skill. Their power is like a heaven and earth. Looking at the power of Fire Strike, its power is greater than the piercing spindle skill that will have, which I sure am Night grade skill. Seeing no monster coming towards me, I looked toward Jill, whom earlier fighting not far away from me. When Elle looked at her, I found that she is also looking toward me with a shocked expression. Not just her, many people that I become familiar with me are looking at the same way as Jill. I just have them smile and looked away from them, but I didn't fail to notice 5 monsters' body around Jill. But no one surprised seeing that as last few days her killing score is better than our group's peak specialist grade revolver. I again started to fight to see the monster coming toward me. As time passed by, monster numbers kept increasing, but they are still manageable as we are in closed space and there is so much space for the monitor to enter. Whatever monsters came toward me, I kept killing them with the fire strike. This skill power is so amazing that I wouldn't want to use anything but this. After I killed my 5th monster, I stopped eating Treant Heart for recovery and went back to drinking mana potions. I have limited number Treant's Heart. If keep squandering them at this speed, they will not going to last till I exit this realm. I did it because not only I will waste the Treant Hearts this way, I will also lose on Supreme Combat exercise. As using Treant Heart, I will feel less strain of battle and circulation of my Supreme Combat exercise slows down. Combat is the only thing I depend on to advance in a Supreme Combat exercise. I have received many injuries because not eating Treant Heart for combat, but I also reached 20-second move of exercise in very less time. It is becoming harder though to advance more in exercise. Although pain is a lot less compared to the one I felt after eating mystic medicine, but it is still pain nonetheless. But I am still confident in creating the 5th seal of exercise today or tomorrow. I keep fighting on killing monsters with my terrifying kill, enjoying the rush of power when I felt death-like intuition. Intuitively I activated my shield and move it toward where I felt danger. Bang! Something heavy collide against my shield, breaking nearly all bones of my body. I felt so immense force that I've never felt before and my body flew like a broken kite. Bam! Next moment, I collided against force field. The rest of my body parts that were left safe got injured due to the collision, taking me to the death's door. If I didn't do something within second, I will surely die without knowing which monster sneaked attacked me. Chapter 147 Sudden Changes. I am at the death door. Every bone of my body had broken and blood could be seen from flowing from every part of my body. The attack came so suddenly that I barely had a chance to defend against. By the time that I knew the monster is attacking, I barely had time to defend properly or use the skill. Still, thanks to my Knight grade shield, I am alive. If it were any normal grade 1 shield, I would not be at death door but really dead. I am very seriously injured, and if I didn't do anything in the next few seconds, either monster will kill me or the excessive bleeding. I even lost my sword when I collided against the force field. I hope it will be here somewhere. I don't want to lose my Knight grade sword. I am barely able to shake my limbs due to serious injuries, much less move them to take out Treat Heart from the storage of my right pocket, but there is still hope. More than a week ago, I saw a girl sucking her sleeve when she got very injured by the minister. That piqued my interest and I kept watching her while fighting the monster. It turned that girls have sewed special place at the end of sleep to keep potion bottles for an emergency. I got interested and I also copied her and made space for potion bottles under my sleeves, and morning today I changed potion bottle with pieces of the Treant Heart. I craned my neck downward despite feeling the immense pain and moved my right sleeve. It is very hard and painful, but I kept going and soon my sleep reached my mouth. I opened my mouth and loosely bit it with my teeth. Soon the small piece Treant Heart melted in my mouth and started to heal my injuries speedily. By before I could smile again, I felt an impending danger again, and next moment I again hit by a monster. Bang! I wasn't able to see monster clearly as my eyes were a little murky due to blood. This time my body fell on the open space and I can feel sound of intense fighting around me. I lay on the ground in an unnatural position potion as my wounds are still healing due to a piece of Treant Heart earlier. This is reason probably am not dead, despite bones of my waist are crushed. Laying in the ground, I tried to move my limbs. This time my injuries are really heavy. I could die in a few minutes if my injuries did not stabilize. The piece of Treant Heart I ate earlier will not able to heal me. It would be a blessing if it is able to stabilize injuries and made my limbs capable enough to move a little. I know monster could attack me any moment and end me, despite that I did not give up and keep trying to move my hands. As the second passed, the monster's attack I have been expecting did not come and my twitching hands started to move a little. I kept moving my right hand little by little till it reached near my right pocket. I kept moving it and soon it reaches my right pocket. My hand went inside my storage and I removed the biggest piece that I kept it for emergencies. It is from Peak Specialist grade Treant and it will be more than enough to heal all my injuries and charge my mana to 100%. My hand slowly come toward my mouth as I kept worrying about the monster attack that could hit me any time. As the piece of Traiant heart coming toward my mouth, I am trying to see the scene around me but I barely able to some blurry figures. My eyes had become murky due to blood and I can see clearly, as I am dying to see which monster bastard sneaked attacked me. Soon the Traiant heard hear my mouth, I opened my mouth fully despite feeling pain from my broken jaw. The big piece of Traiant heart enter my mouth and next moment there burst of refreshment that started to spread from my mouth, healing injuries of my whole body. As the seconds passed more and more of my injuries started to heal and I got relatively good control over my hands that I can clear the blood off them. As my eyes gained clearly, I get the full view of the fights that are going around me. I thanked my luck that I was not crushed by the foot of monsters as the closest fight is just 2 meters away from. I would be miserable if I were too crushed by 12 tall monster. Anther minutes passed and I get relative control my body and I can barely stand up. When stood up, I saw the shocking scene, not much away from me. There is Bitsy is fighting against an about 14 meters tall monster and that monster is the peak of specialist stage. The monster looked very angry as tiny Bitsy sunning around its body, attacking whenever she wished. Rachel saved my life again, I said looking toward Bitsy. I am sure this is the monster that sneaks attack me. My body is stronger than normal specialist grade evolvers due to force seals and mid-stage specialist stage monster is not powerful enough to make me reach the death's door at the single attack, moreover, that attack is passed through my shield. I activated my second sword my waist as lost my sword after I collided against the force field. I was about to start circulating fire strike to attack the monsters when a red arrow came out of nowhere pierced the monster skull. Thud, a giant monster fell on the ground with a loud thud and soon Bitsy came toward me running. First, she looked around for Ashlyn but when she didn't find her she turned to me and started to kiss my cheeks and shamelessly asked for a treat. Ha ha ha. Here you go, I said, as took out the treat and gave it to her. I gave her one of fruit that Ashlyn brought yesterday. Bitsy quickly left after eating the fruit and walked toward the direction where I collided the force field to find my sword. The sword is really important to me, it is only offensive knight grade artifact I have and my previous grade 1 sword nothing compare to it. I didn't have to search very hard and I found it nearly force field. After I activated my sword, I again started killing monsters but this time I am not lost in the power of the skill. I kept myself vigilant every moment of my fight so mistake earlier did not happen. If I had seen that attack second earlier, I would have been better conditioned to find against it. The more and more monster kept coming and we keep killing, he is an inside force field is completely filled with monsters, that you could not take a step without stepping on the monster corpse. Time passed as kept fighting and soon at 3 hours since Rachel opened the force field. A sudden change occurred in the fight as monsters orcs suddenly became crazy and started to run like a headless chicken. Instructive fear could be seen on their faces. Seeing something wrong, Rachel quickly closed the force field and seeing her, Max also did the same. The remaining monster inside the force field quickly killed by Rachel and us. Soon we for me to know the reason for their fear and monster as a monster outside force field started to fall one by one large yellow clouds loomed over them. Extreme horror appeared on everyone's faces when we saw what that yellow cloud is made even Rachel is no exception. Chapter 148 Daffodil Bee's Eye. Daffodil Bees. Rachel said in horror, slight fear could be heard from her voice, not only she but many other elites around her also have that look. I don't particularly know the species bee monster but knowing it is bee monsters already enough for me. Flying type monsters are dangerous especially those who traveled in a large group are very dangerous and bee monster is one the most dangerous one. Those yellow clouds have about 10,000 monsters and they are constantly killing monsters hogs around our camps. A few minutes later thousands of monster hog bodies lying dead around the camp while clouds of daffodils bees are attacking both camps with the thousands of darts. One thing I don't understand though, why the reaction of horror appeared on Rachel and her friends' faces. Are these daffodils bees are very dangerous? I asked Jill who was beside me watching bee monsters' relentless attack on our force field. They are more than dangerous, they are like a scourge, once they decided on something, they can annihilate hordes of the monster within the second. These monsters are common in high mana concentration realms like this. This is best places they would find materials to make their honey, she said. Material for honey? I asked, what material they need to make honey, that precious flowers. You will soon see what material they need, but one thing you must remember: never cross these daffodil bees, they are extremely relentless in their hunt, she warned. The bees kept attacking for a few minutes before they stopped suddenly and started to land on the monster's hogs. Every daffodil bee landed on the monster, and suddenly a crystalline protrusion came out of their mouths and struck the chest of the monster hogs. Thousands of bees is doing that to everybody of the monster's hog. What are they doing? I asked Jill, seeing the weird crystalline protrusion coming out of their mouth. Keep watching, Jill replied. I kept watching, but I saw no change for a few seconds, but then bodies of monster hogs started to twitch as they were waking out of their sleep. Their bodies started to twitch faster and faster, but no matter how much they try, they can't seem to move their limbs. Grunt, 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 grunt. Mournful grunting of monster hogs started all of a sudden. Their mournful grunt shook my heart. To grunt like that, they must be in extreme pain. I thought earlier when daffodil bees released their darts, I thought they were poisonous and they were killing those monster hogs, but I was so wrong. Those darts were not poisonous but potent tranquilizer that made monster hogs unconscious. I looked at the monster hogs that were grunting in extreme pain as crystalline protrusion of daffodil's bees are attached to their hearts. There seems to be no change in their body because of protrusion. I wanted to ask Jill what the daffodil's bees are doing, but I know she will not give me the right answer. Everyone from the whole camp looking at scene front us with wide eyes. No one moved from their spot and no one dared to make any sound, not even Rachel. Ashlyn also comes out me and nested on my shoulder. It's good thing that she didn't chirp as always when she came out, otherwise I would have to face angry eyes or even beating of the whole. Ashlyn, without disturbing me, quietly watching the unchanging scene that is happening in front of us. Few more minutes passed and there is no change when speculates started to appear on the monster hog bodies. First barely anyone noticed it, but as time passes everyone started to notice. The bodies of monster hogs started to turn sickly yellow and their grunts more hoarse. Soon all the monsters' hogs' bodies turned sickly yellow and their hoarse grunts becoming barely audible. It feels like these fucking bees sucking the life out of these poor monsters, I whispered softly, looking at the scene happening in front of me. You're very right about this, said Jill, hearing my whisper. Seeing little confusion in my eyes, she decided to explain. That protrusion that coming out of Daffodil Bee's mouth not only sucking its mana, it's also sucking its vitality, life essence, and last but not least its core. I am utterly shocked hearing this. I also suspected, seeing monster's yellowed form, that it must be sucking its mana and vitality, but I've never expected it's also sucking life. These daffodil bees are utterly cruel, I said in my heart. Every life form has a life force and a present in every life form as long as they are alive, but if they are dead then life force will vanish from their body. Taking out life force from any life form is an extremely painful and cruel process. The pain I felt yesterday is nothing compared to the pain monster hogs were now feeling. Taking life force out one's body like a taking one's souls out, it is an extremely inhuman process. That is why it is banned everywhere in the continent for being inhuman. Those who were caught doing that were punished severely, but still many people harvest life force as it is being one most important material in potion making. Do you know why daffodil bees are known as natural alchemists? Jill asked. I shook my head saying no, this is the first time I've heard of daffodil bees, much less them being a natural alchemist. The honey of the daffodil bee made from the essence of extremely precious flowers and herbs, but it also contains life force, vitality, and purified monster cores. Every single drop honey made by daffodil bee precious and could sell for tens of millions of credits. A drop of honey made by corporal level daffodil bee could create greed in the heart if lieutenant stage powerhouse, said Jill. I was so shocked that I am barely able to form a word in my mouth. A drop of honey could evoke greed in lieutenant stage powerhouse. It must have immense uses. I was about to ask for its uses when another change started to occur in front of us. Chapter 149, Daffodil Bees 2. Small cracks started to form on the bodies of monster hogs, but the bees still did not take out their protrusions. The cracks grew bigger and bigger as time passed. It's been some time. The mournful grunts of monster hogs are stopped, but their bodies are still twitching, showing they are still alive as Daffodil's bees still aren't finished sucking the monster dry. You know, we have to arrange large force containing only our elites and super elites to hunt for Daffodil bees' honey and have to fight tooth and nail to gain victory over this bees," said Jill. "I can understand why they need only the elite and super elite against these bees. A single dart from the bees could make one unconscious, although armor could block the darts. There are many areas on the body which couldn't be protected. To fight against tens of thousands of monsters will surely need top-end experience force." The cracks on the monster hog become more and more obvious. From the distance, they look like giant clay figurines that experienced age and now has cracked over it. It will be over soon. I thought over sigh as monster hogs are barely twitching right now. Time passed by and soon daffodil bees started to fly up, leaving dry and husky corpses monster hogs on their wake. Some of the corpses even collapsed, leaving behind fine dust. This is the horror of these bees. I would prefer to die by straight blade than this horrible way. As bees flew up the air, they merged with the rest of the yellow cloud and started to attack both camps again like earlier. "Take a quick rest, we will have to fight soon." Rachel's loud voice rang out in everyone's eyes. Unceremoniously, Jill and I sat on the dead monster hog's back. I took some fruits for us to eat as we watched thousands of bees try to attack our camp. We currently don't have the ability to fight near 10,000 bees, the only this we can do hold up in our camp till they. It looked for hours have passed, but when I looked at my holowatch, I got quite surprised to find it'd been less than half an hour. "How much time do you think it will take these bees to clear up?" I asked Jill, as she only seems to most of my answers. "I don't know," she said while shaking her head. I am a little disappointed in hearing that, but decided not to dwell on it. Bitsy and Ashlyn playing beside us, more like Bitsy following Ashlyn to play and seeing her enthusiasm. Ashlyn also responded as they play chasing game. We sat in silence as the time passed by. Thousands of daffodil bees kept attacking for the past half an hour, but they stopped suddenly. Everyone stopped chatting and looked up, hoping the monsters would leave. The big cloud of yellow separated into two groups, one big and one small. There were around 10,000 monster bees in the large yellow cloud. Now that it got separated, the big cloud has around 7,000 while the smaller one has 3,000. I watched the cloud's bees concentrate lately, and just as big cloud turned to leaves, I became very happy. As the big cloud is leaving, the smaller cloud resumed its attack on both camps. "Everybody gets into formation," Rachel said 10 minutes after the large cloud of bees left. "I am going to open the quarter of the force field for daffodil bees to come in like monsters earlier," she said. We stood standing on the bodies of monsters hogs. "They may be a fewer number than monsters earlier, but they are more dangerous. Those who have long-range abilities and skill do not hesitate to use them all," she ordered. "I am going to open force field in 10 seconds. Be careful of its tranquilizing darts," she said. I started the countdown in my head. The monsters are really few compared to earlier, and if we give it all, the fight should be finished in half an hour. I already activated all my artifact and fully vigilant to guard against any tranquilizing attack hitting my open spot. I jipped my sword and ready to use my skill as a monster enter. Dimp. The quarter of the force field opened of both camps. The small yellow cloud quickly divided into two to attack toward the camp. Buzz. The buzzing sound out of their wind traveled in ears as a large group of bees came inside. "Fire strike!" I shouted, seeing the bee monster coming toward me. Only when a silver bolt of fire shot through my sword did I detect the level of the bee monster that coming toward. But I did not see my shot flying through the air as all my concentration on eating a piece of Traiant heart. Thud. Sound I heard when I popped the piece of the Traiant heart in my mouth. I am not surprised seeing mid-level bee getting killed by my skill. I am sure that I can even kill peak specialist stage monster bee without a problem. I was about to start preparing a second fire strike when I saw two extremely sharp darts coming toward me. Without thinking, I moved my shield in front of my face. Ding ding. Two darts collided against my shield. That fully I was able to react on time. Using shield in front of my face, I again started activating the fire strike. As long as I protect my face I would be fine, even if that tranquilizer darts collided against my armor. I will feel acute pain but the blow will be blocked. I kept using fire strike one after another while defending against the darts released by a bee. That god, these monster did not have much freedom in this enclosed space, otherwise it would have been hell. Many monsters are getting killed every minute, but so is many people getting tranquilized. 2 members of my team also fell unconscious after tranquilizing dart hit them. My speed is good as I am killing the monster by a few minutes, but Rachel is best as rained down her red arrows killing tens of monster every minute. The enclosed space turned out to be the bane of Daffodil B, where close combat specialist can also kill them after making the high jump. The fight rage on, as people kept using their full power without reservation, but this enclosed dome still becomes a playing field for mid-range attacker who expertly kept killing the monster. By the time fight is finished our camp is filled with so many monster bodies that we aren't able to see the open ground. Chapter 150 Rescue I. Quickly clean the battlefield, said Rachel after the last of Daffodil be killed by her. I started to collect cores and poison gland of Daffodil bees. If not for poison gland is smaller than fist size, I wouldn't have picked that up. It did not take much time to collect all the material from daffodil bees, but it is not the same for bodies of monster hogs. No matter how much I tried, I can't seem to penetrated the heart of the monster hogs. I even used the power of the 3 tides, but it was no use. In the last I had to request Jill's help to remove the monster cores. These cores B grade monster will be very precious in the market. They are more expensive than normal corporal grade monster cores. Less than an hour we finished cleaning the battlefield and started to walk. Rachel had said we have to walk for about 50 miles inside the core region to reach the exit, and it will take 6 to 7 days. 1 day had already passed and today is the 2nd day. I miss home very much, especially my parents. I have never been away from home for this much time. After exiting this realm, I am going to book the earliest ticket to home. Time passed by and 2 more days had been passed. These 2 days had really grueling. As we enter inside, the monsters are getting stronger and stronger and fighting them becoming difficult. There had been near 21 deaths since we entered in the core region 3 days. It is our luck that we have 3 super elites with us who quickly kill a large number of monsters and rescue people on time, otherwise deaths would have been many times higher. The only regret I have, I wasn't able to create the 5th seal of Supreme Combat Exercise. I am currently struck at 24th move of the exercise and can't seem to break the last wall. The pain I felt the 24th move is really great, though it is still not compared to the one I felt after I ate the mystical medicine, but still the pain is still unbearable, that's stopping me from breaking the last layer to create the 5th seal. As the pressure of fight had increased, many people also level up and their combat technique becomes sharper by these constant fighting. Even I, one of few in the camp that doesn't know any combat style aside from one I learned in the school, is getting better. My movements became crisp and agile. Every move my sword will either use to attack or defend, and there barely will be any waste movement on my part. Rachel said if we keep going at this pace we can reach the exit in 3 days minimum. Today is a special day as we are going to meet 2 more groups in the evening, and 2 days later, the remaining 4 groups will also meet. With the original 8 groups, we are going walk toward the exit of this realm. It is mid-afternoon and we had just finished fighting a small horde of monster. Thousands of bodies of monsters are littered around the ground and many people busy collecting their trophies. Thank you earlier for helping me. If not for you killing that monster, I would have been a really bad state, said Jill as she removed the core from the monster's body beside me. Earlier when we were fighting, a minster sneaked on Jill when she was fighting Bunch Monster. Seeing that I attacked that monster with Fire Strike and killed it in 1 shot. You don't have to thank me for this little help, you had saved my life many times, I said. She just smiled and didn't say anything as we keep taking out monster cores from monsters' bodies. Chew. Ashlyn comes flying with the large urban paws which she dropped the front of Bitsy, and she flew away quickly before bypassed her further. Fawn. Bitsy fawned in sadness seeing Ashlyn running away before happily eating the herb that Ashlyn left. I had to let Ashlyn out every day after the fight if I tried to stop her. She forcefully comes out of me. She every day drops some fruits and herbs in my backpack after she comes out. To keep my backpack light for combat and make space for new things, I threw away lots of stuff. The spice bottle I had, the kitchen utensils, some useless stuff I got around Andrew and nail stuff. I even threw away most of the monster parts that like fur or teeth that I thought as valuable and non-rare herbs and ores that I had picked up. Now, most of my backpack and storage contain a monster core, monster parts, and herbs that Ashlyn kept bringing. I hope that the unknown herbs that Ashlyn keep bringing will sell at an expensive price outside. If not, then all the stuff I threw away to make space for it will be for naught. Alright, let's get moving. Max's loud voice resounded in our ear as he ordered us to walk. Fortunately, I finished removing cores from the monsters that otherwise I would be like some people who hadn't finished removing cores of the monster. I rarely left behind any monster cores. If have any problem removing it, I asked for Jill to help. We are walking fast in the forest in the loose formation. If one will look for afar he will see we are walking slow, but he keep looking, he will notice that we are walking at an extremely fast pace, that our speed is compared to mid-pace running. A few days ago it was quite hard for me to follow such pace, but now it feels like normal walking to me. HNH. Max stopped suddenly and all people readied their weapon to fight. Their eyes started scanning for monsters that arrived. We were quite familiar with this pattern. The scouts will notify Max ahead of monsters' attack. He would suddenly stop on his track and this would be his sign that monsters are coming, but what came out of his mouth had surprised us all. Increase your pace, the other groups need reinforcement, said Max loudly. As he said, our pace changed suddenly from fast walking to running. Normally we walk fast-paced to make minimum noise and not attract monster by the sound of our footsteps, but this no longer matters now as other groups need help and this wasn't the time for care about the sound of our footsteps. We started running at full speed without caring for the monster that comes in the way. Max deployed all the corporal stage evolvers around the formation while 3 sides of formation are taken command by 3 super elites. Whichever monster come in our way, it would be cut down within a second. Our speed of running very fast. I am probably running at my fastest speed which my body allowed with using any skill or artifact. Many monsters attacked us in a group of hundreds, but they were cut down within a second as we ran to rescue in our full speed. Chapter 151 Rescue 2. No matter which obstruction is coming in a way, we pierce through it but did not decrease our speed. All 3 super had been using their powers, but it is still Rachel has the most kills. Rachel's speed of releasing arrows faster than normal, not only she, Max and William also releasing flora of attacks whichever monsters that came in way. I also keep my skill ready to attack any monster who breached the formation, but no monster had as they had all got killed before they could reach the formation. In 20 minutes we reached near enough to hear the faint sound of fighting and by that time more than 1,000 minsters were cut down. Hearing the faint fighting sound we increased our speed again, cutting down any monster that comes in our way. I looked disappointedly at the monster bodies that we were leaving behind, so much monster cores. If one were just to sell monster cores of all the monster we had killed in the past half hour, he earns tens of millions. We kept running top of our speed and as we drew near, the sound of fighting grew louder and louder. By the time we had reached the fighting scene, I was left quite dumbstruck seeing the fighting scene but also could understand why the other group would need reinforcement. Let's attack, said Max as we reached near the battlefield without giving us much time to observe the fight. With Max we all ran toward the battlefield like mad while observing the fight. There are seen to more than 4,000 monsters fighting near 1,000 people and people seem to be in very bad shape. All the body parts that were not in protection of armor are clawed red, their clothes are torn and people look very miserable monsters. Nothing less expected from monster species which are famous for mischief and some even have a streak of cruelty in them. They are monkey species. These ones look extremely cruel and are little different than other monkey monsters I've come across in West Blood. They are exceptionally fast, although most of the monkey monster are famous for their speed and agility. These ones are exceptionally fast. Their speed would be little than Bitsy, which is the fastest monster I've ever come across. These monkeys are the same size as all the monkey monsters I've seen. The higher level ones are just a little bigger and all of them are light green in color. The weirdest thing about these monkey monster is that their claws, they did not have claws like a normal monster. Their claws looked like they have made of wind blades. They are about 5 inches long. One look at their claws would put fear in men's hearts, that's how sharp. As we running toward the battlefield, I saw Jill remove the mask from her storage and put on her head, which quickly activated and turned into the sleek helmet that covered her head and neck, completely covering her body except for her palms, which are holding her sword and shield. Not only she but many people started donning the masks. I can understand why they are doing that. These monkeys are exceptionally cruel and like to attack the head, and they had shaved many patches on people's head they are fighting. I also had a mask and I would have done it if I had the energy to support it. Oh ooh, ah ah. Azure monkeys quickly notice a large group of people running toward them. Without fearing they ran toward in large quantity without feeling swath of fear. They are running toward us with their high-pitched voice and claws made of wind blades. Soon there was the only 10-meter distance between us, and I can clearly see the streak of mischief, cruelty, and madness in their eyes. Fire strike! I shouted as released the bolt of silver fire toward the azure monkey coming toward me and bit against my sleeve without looking at the firebolt that I just shot. I just improvised the little trick keeping potion in sleeves. Now I had sewed enough space around both of my sleeves, so I put more potion or pieces of Treyant heart into them. Oh ah! As weaknesses started to reside, I looked as a monkey with extreme anger in its eyes coming toward me unstably but swiftly. I missed. This is the first time my fire strike skill had missed. Normally the bolt of fire is too fast for any monster to dodge. The monster is pouncing toward me with very fast speed. If I did not do anything in the second, then I am definitely going to be seriously injured by those wind blade claws. I did not move and let it come closer too. I can see the cruel smile on its face as it saw me not moving. As it comes close enough to me that it can't move mid-air, I move my sword and smiling arc formed on my lips as shouted gotcha in my mind. Fist tied. Second tied. Third tied. I activated 3 tides power together. My sword, which was moving at normal speed, suddenly tuned swift. An alarmed expression appeared on the azure monkey face. Seeing there no chance of dodging my sword, madness appeared in its eyes as it stretched its claws fully toward my head, but alas, when its claws few inches away from me, my sword its neck. Pshaw, see. It felt small obstruction at the monster neck, but I supplied the skill more mana that it is able to cut the neck of azure monkeys before it could do any mischief or do my attack. Thud, 2 parts of azure monkey fell on the ground with a thud. That was close. I said as I took okay few breaths. If I had no idea of using 3 raging tides as an attack, I definitely would have gotten injured. Even if I had used my shield, it would have been difficult as it would have changed its course mid-air, as these azure monkeys have an elemental affinity, a wind affinity at that. This makes their speed swifter, and they can do many things mid-air with their wind affinity and inherent agility that monkey monster has. In the past 2 days, I've been using 3 ranging tides skill for quick movements rather than attack, as most of the monster I've come across have higher defense, and 3 rain strike do nothing but annoy them when used. My main attack method is my night grade skill fire strike, as it can kill any specialist stage monster, no matter how high its defense is. I had killed 3 peak specialist grade monsters in the past 2 days, and they all killed by my silver firebolt. One thing shocked me though about these azure monkeys: they seem to hold a shred of intelligence compares to another monster in this forest. That intelligence is fillies with the madness, but that is still intelligence. 2 has to be careful of that any craftiness they perform. As I am taking deep breaths, I saw an initial level azure monkey coming. Without wasting time, I activated my skill. Fire strike. Chapter 152 Totem Artifact. Thud. I killed another azure monkey and drank the potion. It's been an hour since we entered the fight, but there is not much change in it. It's been more than an hour since we are fighting, and we killed nearly 3/4 of monsters. There are only thousands of monsters remaining. 1/4 of the people are not even fighting, as they don't have any monsters fight. I had already switched to potions from Treyant heart after I killed the first azure monkey. I have very few Treyant's hearts and I have to save them for future fights. This is one reason, but the main reason is that my skill 9 raging strikes are useful. I used it against initial and mid-level specialist grade azure monkeys, but is useless against peak level azure monkeys. That lesson I've learned in a hard way. A long scar on my face is proof of that. Although I ate Treyant heart to heal that injury, but extremely faint outline could be seen on my face. That's not the only injury I received in past hours. A faint outline of scars could be seen on face, and scars could be seen on the face and my neck. These azure monkeys are very crafty and one has to be careful in dealing with them. Whoosh, dodging the claw from a sudden attack, I swung my swords towards it but went past my attack range, but next moment it attacked me again. One more thing special about this monkey is that they are relentless in their attack. I kept fighting it while dodging its attacks, waiting for the good opportunity strike. Ooh ah ah. It shouted in high-pitched voice, attack again. I also swung my sword toward it. Fuck. I used loudly as it dodged my attack and left a line across my hairline. It's good thing that I dodged on time, or its wind claws would have made serious wound across my head. Ooh ah. It teased me and attack, with mischief cruelty it comes toward me. I did not do anything different, which made it even more confident as it comes toward. Fire strike. I launched the attack when it azure monkey is only 2 meters away. It may look great distance and one would think that it can easily be dodged, but it is difficult. The speed of silver fire bolt extremely fast, as it took he only microsecond to hit skull of the azure monkey. Thud. It fell on the ground with a small hole in its head. This attack may look hurried, but it was very planned. These monkeys are very smart and alert. Normal method attacking them won't affect them, as they could effectively dodge with their speed and agility. The best way to kill these monster live some of their attacks, make them overconfident and then strike. You will surely get the kill at the single strike. Seeing I am now free and my teammates don't need much help, I decided to sit on a tree stump. I am still vigilant of a remaining monster, but more of my attention on the reflection on the fight I just had. As time passed by, more monster getting killed, and I also helped my teammate killing one azure monkey when craftily, seriously injured my teammate. Soon there are less than monster remain, and they are also getting killed by second. I am just reflecting my fighting strategy when faint high-pitched noise as thousands of monsters making it. Oh ah. Loud high-pitched shout descended upon us, and then suddenly thousands of azure monkeys came out of the dense tree. There must 6,000 to 7,000 of them at least. Sword in my hand shook seeing this quantity, but I quickly controlled my raging emotions and tightly gripped my sword. There is no option of running, and as these monsters definitely follow and hunt, the option is to fight wholeheartedly and be victories in the end. I just have to fight a few more monsters than normal. I consoled myself seeing a horde of green emerging from the forests. It looked like a layer of green that is moving without stopping. Seeing the numbers of the monster can definitely put fear in anyone's heart. I just wanted to bolt out of here, but I controlled myself and watched green layer that coming toward us. It will take near minute to monster horde to reach us. Cowards. I said as I saw 3 people are running back to the forest. Are they idiots? I cursed seeing them running. Only big groups or powerhouse like super elite can survive in the camp alone. These fuckshits who running won't able to survive a day after running. Gasp. Before I could curse them again, 3 pure white arrows penetrated their heads and it blasted like a watermelon. It looked like a small firework had blasted in their head. When I followed the trajectory of the pure white arrow, I got surprised. I saw Rachel holding pure white bow, which looked like the made bone of some monster. The bow is beautiful. It had carved with some design which I can't see from the far. This is not the artifact, I said in my mind after got over the beauty of the bow. The artifact we used can be identified as they had a similar design, but this bow is completely different. Wait a minute. Could it be that? My mind shook as guessed the possibility, but more I think about more sure I become. I've seen such artifact many times when I see the past matches of League of Heroes, especially top 50 matches where about everyone have such artifact. Totem artifact, somebody shouted loudly. That's right, this is totem artifact. These artifacts said to be in a completely different league to the artifact we used. Uhuaya. Before I could admire that totem artifact, even more, the horde of Azure Mo league upon us. Chapter 153 Azure Monkey Eye. About 2,000 people will be fighting against about 8,000 monsters. Although we 1,000 people fought a horde of above 5,000 many times and they were B-grade monsters at that, but there was little difference. The monsters we fought before mostly strength and defense-oriented, not speed-oriented monster that is coming toward us. A speed-oriented monster most hard to deal with, and these Azure Monkey has both speeds and agility, and don't forget that wind claws of its, that can tear through any flesh like butter. Earlier I saw an Azure Monkey had pierced through the temple of girl and then mangled her face. I shook my head to get that scene out of my mind and concentrate on a horde of Azure Monkey that just about to clash with us. I had to make a painful decision after seeing the horde of Azure Monkey coming. I had to sacrifice my grade 1 boot so that I could wear a grade 1 mask. My speed will be sacrificed, but at least my head will be safe. I can protect my head when I'm fighting against 2 or maybe 3 Azure Monkey, but against 5 or 6, it will really hard. The best option would be to sacrifice the speed for protection, and that's what I did. All the super elites are casting their wide-range attacks, killing tens of monster each every second. The glittering skills of different colors could be seen crashing down the horde of monkeys. This would be really a scene to enjoy if not for the mind-buzzing high-pitched screams of thousands of Azure Monkeys that are giving me a headache from afar. I gripped my sword hard and readied my shield as I circulated 24th move Supreme Combat Exercise. I hope this battle would give me a chance to create the 5th seal. The sea of the monster came. As they reached 15 meters from me, 6 Azure Monkeys separated from the large group and came toward me. 2 of them are initial level while the other 4 at mid-level. All 6 of them pounced toward me in unison. Fire strike. I activated my skill and released the silver bolt of fire, and without looking, I bit my sleeve to eat the piece of Treant heart. I used my night grade skill because this is the only chance I am going to get used this skill. After all the 6 Azure Monkeys started to attack me at the same time, I don't think I will be able to use the skill. As I use this skill, an extreme weakness come to me right after, and I have to either eat the heart of Treant and mana potion, but I won't get chance to drink the potion as once these monsters sensed weakness their attack become more furious and relentless. To kill these monkeys, mostly I would have to depend on the 9 Raging Strike, and only after monster number thinned out to 1 or 2, will I be able to use the Fire Strike. Hewn. I got quite surprised seeing the body of Azure Monkey fell on the ground. I thought my attack mostly dodged or hit another part, but luckily it directly hit it in its head, killing it in one shot. But I have no time to enjoy the kill as rest of the 5 monsters directly front of me, and there is extreme anger in their eyes. Fist tied. Clank. Clank. Bam. Tunk tunk, all 5 monsters attacked me at the same time. To increase my speed, I circulated the first tide of 9 Raging Tides as I can't activated my series, but it is not enough. The Azure Monkeys clashed again. My sword, shield but toe mid-level 1 are specially target my head in a frenzy. It is good this all my body is protected by my armor and mask, but I still receive injuries due to piercing shock that traveled in my body. The force of their sharp claws had traveled inside my body, and it felt like tens of sharp knives piercing my body, especially the attack of 2 mid-level Azure Monkeys who were targeting my head. Whoosh! I swung my sword, but the Azure Monkey easily dodged and attacked me again. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I activated power 3 tides and swung my 2 monkeys who were coming toward me. Size, they dodged despite me using the power of 3 tides together, except for little hair on the tail of a monkey, my attack won't able do much. At least cutting little pain on monkey's tail could be considered revenge seeing how they messed my hair. I have to take 4 minutes rest before I could use the power of the whole 3 moves again. If I created the 5th seal, then I would barely have to wait for 2 minutes before I can use 3 tides again. Tunk tunk tunk. I don't know how, but these Azure Monkeys come to know that more they hit my helmet more pain and annoyance I would feel. They keep attacking my head every chance they got, not leaving my head alone even for a second. I am feeling a headache, veins on head bulged to the limit and felt like they would pop any second. As time passed by, the fight had become more intense. I've been receiving an attack in my body every second without pause. I've many times tried to break the wall of Supreme Combat Exercise to create the 5th seal but failed. Every time I tried to breach the wall, I get failed due to low momentum, I tried increased my momentum but get unsuccessful because I can seem to bear the pain. For the past 25 minutes, I've used my skill 4 times but all of them missed except for giving small injury and cutting some hair, all seemed fine. Oh, oh ah. My head is really buzzing with pain as I head their high-pitched screams beside my ears. A godsend opportunity, I said in my mind when I saw 3 monkeys are attacking at the same time from the front. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I activated power 3 tides simultaneously when the monster was only a half-meter away from. When my sword swung toward them the power of the skill, there was little surprise in their cruel eyes but no sense of fear as they could easily dodge any attack in midair. Left considered Dodson left while the right monster in the right but when the middle monster about to dodge, it found itself in prediction. It can dodge left or dodge right as it will collide with another monster, as its speed is greater due to mid-level while other 2 at initial and it cants backward as it bounced toward the front. By the time the decision had shown in its eyes, it became too late as my sword already breath away from it. Catch! My sword rained down on it vertically and split its skull in 2. Ha ha ha. I started to laugh madly seeing I killed another mid-level Azure monkey. I keep laughing madly and in my madness, I did not even care about the frenzied attack I am receiving from the Azure monkeys. My mind shook and I again started laughing madly. Just now in my madness I broke the wall of the 25th move and creation of the 5th seal started in my temple. Chapter 154 Azure Monkey 2. Ha ha ha. I didn't stop laughing even after the 5th seal started forming in my temple. I don't know what gotten into me that I kept laughing, maybe is the frustration of being trapped in this realm or maybe something else but I can't seem to stop. My people had cast their eye on me while fighting but I didn't care nor would I stopped laughing. Seeing me laughing the Azure monkeys had attacked me with even more frenzy and kept feeling stabbing pain inside my body. I just kept my hands safe as they were the only open part of my body. I must be laughing for a few minutes and only stopped when I felt seal started to suck mana inside my refinement engine. I upped my sleeve while shielding my hands from the Azure monkeys' attacks. I got control over my emotions as a refreshing feeling spread over my body while some of being sucked my newly formed seal. I started to defend against the attacks of monsters as seal being created in my temple. It will completely be formed in 2 to 3 minutes and when it completed it will give a very significant boost to my ability and power of 9 Raging Tides will increase as well. 9 Raging Tides is body the typing skill which multiplies the strength of my body by 1 at every tide. The 5th seal not only lessens the time interval of uses of the 9 Raging Tides but also its power. I kept defending against the attack of monsters as the seal is forming and soon formation of the seal is completed. I felt cool sensation traveling in my body, enriching every cell of my body with strength while also providing the little healing effect. As the cool energy spends on my body, I can feel increased strength of my body. I am stronger and faster than before. With this newfound power, I started to fight the monster in new abandon but this time these 4 Azure monkeys quite caution of my attacks. 2 of their kin has been already killed by me and now they had sensed an obvious hike in my power, they had become even more cautious but I am not worried. This 5th seal had given me my much enhancement in strength with it, I am confident in myself killing these monsters. I did not use 9 Raging Tides as I fought, I want to take them by surprise with its increased power. As the fight raged on, I got complete control over my body. Earlier when the 5th seal is formed my strength increased a little and I felt little loose control over my body with a sudden increase in strength. But prolonged fight helped me get familiar with my new strength and my attacks and defense against monster also perfected. As I fought I kept searching for the right moment and it came, I came after 15 minutes after the seal is formed. I have been noticing for more than 5 minutes that, one initial level monster liked to spend extra time on my head as it hopped around it to hit. I will go to the chance to attack. Seeing the chance, I suddenly crouched down and swing my sword in a circular arc, very near the surface. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I activated the power of the tide's mid-swing and its power increased 3 times suddenly. Oh Pashak. My sword cut the initial level Azure monkey in 2 without feeling any obstruction. That azure monkey that I killed had just landed on the surface and about to hop again. I used that chance of less than half a second to cut it in two. Now only 3 monsters are remaining. I can now use my fire strike skill, but first I have a drink a mana potion. Defending against monsters' attacks, I took out a bottle mana potion from my pocket, as under my sleeves are only pieces of the Treant heart. With only 3 monster and my increased strength, I don't think it will take me more than half an hour to kill all these monsters, and that all I have as the sky started to turn dark. As the fight goes on, the fighting becomes an instant as long as there is a change in an opponent's movement. My sword will also move according to its intimately. Observing this monster, I started to wish I also had wind power like them. With the help of the wind, I would have also able to do near impossible moves as this monster. Chew. Ashlyn chirped snored as she sensed my thoughts. I was just joking, I said to Ashlyn, which she again replied with a snort like a chirp. Fire strike. Suddenly chance presented and I activated my skill instinctively. Biting my sleeve, I looked at the silver bolt of fire traveled through the air. Seeing the attack coming toward it, it dodged and silver bolt only grazed its cheek. First tide. Second tide. Third tide. I activated the power of 3 tides as the power of mana heart is still dissolving in my body. Poochie, my sword directly pierced the azure monkey that had startled by an attack that I had launched before and its concentration on its kin that just evaded my firebolt. After that azure monkey evaded my firebolt, I felt a little sad and I would have to wait for a while to get next chance, but next moment chance presented itself. It was another azure monkey who was looking at its kin who just dodged my firebolt. Despite being low on mana, I achieved the power of 3 tides and attacked the monsters. That idiot monster only sensed my sword after it touched its neck. With only 2 monsters remaining, one initial level and another mid-level, a lot of pressure on my mind released. Now I can easily kill these 2 monsters as they will barely able distract me while attacking. Pashak. I killed another monster after 5 minutes, now only 1 monster had remained. Only 1 monster remains an initial level at that. Seeing only 1 remaining of its kind, it did not run away but attacked with madness. All the intelligence it had in its eyes had disappeared and replaced with madness and cruelty. Well, this makes things even easier, I said loudly as I waited for a potion that I have a drink to be digested completely. Fire strike. I bought it for a few minutes and seeing the chance, I killed it 1 shot. The monster was meter away when I fired a shot and it did not have a chance to dodge at such close distance. I look around to see the fight is still going on at full force, but the majority of monsters had been killed. Jill is collecting monster cores and helping anyone when need. Giving her a light smile, I also started collecting monster cores. After I collected monster cores of the monster I had just killed, I moved toward the monsters that were killed by super elites. Chew. Ashlyn suddenly came out of me and flew away without saying anything. I did not even try to stop her. She is not going to listen to no matter how time I told her that it's dangerous outside. Chapter 155 Dangerous Honey Eye. Super elites only collect corporal level cores while leaving the specialist ones for us. I am collecting cores as fast as I can as others also started to finish their fights and started collecting the cores. Even corporal-level adventurers are no exception as they also collect a monster core of specialist grade without care for their dignity. Choo-choo. Ashlyn had brought back herb and fruit in her 2 claw respectively and dropped them in my backpack. Without much talking she left again. I can't understand why she dropping of herbs. Fruits I understand as I and I both ate them, but she did not even touch herbs she brought back. I once tried to feed it 2 bitsy but she threw away as she tasted it. 99% of the herbs she brought back are unknown, if not some that identifiable are expensive. I would have thrown them away and used that emptied space in my storage and backpack for something else. While collecting monsters cores, I've also kept the eye on the battle that is still going in. About 1,000 monsters are left and they also getting killed every second. Earlier I didn't get a chance to look carefully at another totem artifact, but now I can see them. Max has normal length spear which looked like it made of rusted iron and it looked very ugly if not its shiny blade edge. I would have thought it is a cold weapon from the old era. William's sword quite beautiful. it looked like it made of onyx rock. The other two super elites also had totem weapon. One tall boy had battle axe which looked like it made of wood. The second super elite of that had totem artifact that we use today. If not it for knowing she is super elite, I would have thought she is using little peculiar dual blades. I didn't know totem weapons are being so common these days. Before today totem weapons were things of legend for me which can only be wielded by powerhouses or important people. The information about totem artifacts is not low-level evolver like me can access, but my luck was good that I found a book about totemic ruins from the past era. It is common knowledge that first totem can be made in lieutenant grade and it can be anything, but today's age most people prefer to make their totems in the form of weapons as they are most suitable for a man than other things. What does not know that evolver can make 7 totems whole at a different stage of power? To make totem needs a lot of things, that depends on what type of totem you making. Totem is very important in fights. The higher the grade totem is, the better enhancement it will give to the user. There is a huge difference between totem and totem artifact. What totem artifact is that after totem bearer dead, that totem will materialize beside user body after taking all the energy from user's body. The level of totem artifact depends upon what stage powerhouse died and some other things. It said in the book that, no matter how many totem one has, even if one has all 7 totems after user death only one totem artifact will materialize out of dead user's body and materialization of that totem artifact is totally random. It is written in the book that the grade of the totem artifact cannot be chance and there will be little regression in totem power after it became totem artifact. So, all the totem artifacts were basically totems that materialized after original user's death. Totem artifact is very rare and it is the lowest of lows, would sell above 100 million credits. The enhancement is given by totem artifacts can be comparable, even high-level night-grade artifact pale in comparing normal totem which is same level user much less those at a level above or higher. It is said that even normal totem artifact can double one's power and I can see why they say that. In less than 2 hours, 2,000 people had killed 8,000 people and most number of hunts made by the super elites with use if their totem artifacts. If they had used their normal night-grade artifact fight would have taken an hour more. The fight had nearly finished and because of that thousands of people are now harvesting monsters' cores. Seeing all the monster cores around me has been harvested, I walked toward little deeper woods search for the core. These azure monkeys were also B-grade monsters and because of their obvious weakness in defense they had been killed quickly, but still, they had killed the highest number of people in battle till now. It is said that around 30 people had died in the battle, it's shocking number considering most of them can be rescued by super elites. More people have been dead but they quickly healed by a piece of the Treyant heart. I also shared a piece of the Treyant heart to girl from the other camp earlier seeing she is seriously injured. This shows the power of the azure monkeys despite they being easily killed. If not for super elites handling the situations, at least half of the people would have died. I keep finding unharvested bodies of monster now and then, but I am not the only one here. The camps will be activated in 10 minutes. An unknown voice suddenly boomed across our ears. It must super elite from the other camp who shouted announcement. Ashlyn had been gone for nearly 15 minutes, usually, she did not take more than 5 minutes to return. She had closed off her emotion. I can't know her state but I am able to sense her location. It is a few miles away. Hearing the announcement I started to ask Ashlyn to come back but there is no answer. Few minutes passed and I keep asking Ashlyn to come back. If she didn't come 5 minutes I will ask William for help. Suddenly I sensed her coming toward me and her emotions also opened up. I can sense a hurry in her emotion and felt like some danger is approaching from behind her. The withing minute I saw fast silver outline through the wood and next moment Ashlyn arrived in front of me. Did you roll in flour, Ashley? I had when the heavy smell of flour assaulted my nose and I can there is some kind glittery powder across her body, but when I looked what in her beak I am shocked. Where did you get this? I asked Ashlyn in heavily shaking voice. Not only my voice is shaking but my body is shaking as well seeing the thing inside her beak. In her little beak is small thumb-size honeycomb and golden brown drops of honey could be seen inside. I looked at the golden brown honey in absolute horror. There is only one type of bees I've seen in this forest so far, and that are daffodil bees, and what I am thinking is right, then we in fucking danger. Chapter 156 Dangerous Honey 2. She has a thumb-sized piece of honeycomb in her beak, seeing if I understood everything. We are super fucked. I shouted in fear and shock as I saw that piece of honeycomb. Choo-choo. Ashlyn chirped, telepathically saying me to take the honeycomb. Her chirp made me come to myself from the shock, and I quickly removed the delicate safe box from my storage. Place it here, I said as I opened the box. Nodding her little head, she flew near the box and placed the small piece of honeycomb inside, but not before drinking some honey from it. As I closed the box, she suddenly went inside me and I started to run without looking back. It's only been a few seconds since Ashlyn came back, those monster bees would not be much behind. I stopped suddenly at the end of the woods and started to walk normally. I don't want anyone to know that I have a few drops honey of daffodil bass. If known, then I would be in grave danger, that even William would not be able to protect me. I heaved a sigh of relief after seeing noticed anything strange about me. Buzz buzz. A buzzing sound came suddenly and a group of about 200 daffodil bees comes up wood all of a sudden. Daffodil bee. Bang bang bang. Before he could fully say the sentence, all 5 super elites launched their long-range attacks at bees without stopping. Within a minute all 200 some monsters bees are dead. All people assemble to your respected camps immediately, Max shouted. I sighed in relief, seeing no one suspected anything and thought daffodil bee attack was normal. I mixed into people, talked with Jill as I normally do. Some people who were going for the course of monster bees stopped on their tracks and went back to the place where people of their respective camp were griping. Without wasting any second, people of 4 camps started to arrange the protection artifact while we helped cleaning the space. Within 3 minutes the field is clean and 4 big light blue domes came into place. This time camps are a little different though. They had arranged 4 camps side by side, but this time there is a small pipeway made force field had connected to 4 camps. With this pipeway, others can travel to different camps. They can do this? Why didn't they did it before? I asked, sitting under night sky besides our tents. There was never a need to do that before, as danger was manageable, but now we are only 3 days away from the exit and monsters ahead are very dangerous. They will need a plan and make a strategy for 2 days before our 4 camps will meet the other 4 camps in 2 days. She said. After she said, I understood the reasoning behind why they did that. Connecting 4 camps had many uses. After we cross this area tomorrow, the monster will become more dangerous, many species of monster will attack together and we will probably come across many gigantified monsters, Jill said as she stood up and walked towards her tent while leaving me in shock. Species of many monsters attacking together, many gigantified monsters, her words really shocked me. Probably this is the reason that 4 camps got together. We only come across gigantified monsters only one time. They were 2 sawtooth earthworms. Their height was above 50 meters and was very dangerous. If not for Rachel and Max killing them quickly, it might have caused unforeseeable casualties. Outside, the monster had started coming and attacking. There were already near 1,000 monsters are attacking the camps while more are coming. I am a little surprised though. I thought there will be a large group if daffodil's bees would come, but except for 2 small groups, none came. The first groups were killed by super elites in minutes while another attacked the shield for 15 minutes and left. Taking a long sigh, I went inside the tents. There is still time for dinner. Ashlyn has been behaving erratically ever since she had eaten that 2 drops of honey. Her emotions are in a jumble as if she is drunk. I tried to call her out of me, but she wouldn't listen. She is still very much entranced in her drunkenness that no matter how much I tried to call her out, but she wouldn't listen. I didn't worry much seeing her drunkenness. Jill told that honey had an intoxicating side effect. She will become sober in an hour. I removed delicate case out my storage and opened it. Aside from 7 small pieces of the mutated treyant heart, now there is even small piece of a honeycomb could be seen there. It is perfectly packed in a small transparent bubble, so not a drop of honey could be wasted. Earlier I was too scared to look at honeycomb but not carefully looked at it. It thumb-size honeycomb piece and Holden brown honey could be seen inside it. If I guessed right, there should be 12 to 16 drops of blood inside it. I turned very happy seeing that as it the biggest fortune I've ever held. Jill had said that each drop of honey from daffodil bee would sell for 10 million credit at least. There is a huge demand for it but very low production, even organizations have to organize a big force to acquire the honey from daffodil bees. Its value is no less than some mystical medicine, even the pieces of mystical medicine I have had are fewer values that drop of honey. The pieces of the mutated Treyant heart I had could be used to sergeant stage at most, but this honey made by corporal-level daffodil bees could be used by a powerhouse of all 12 stages, although it will very little use to the later powerhouse, it's still useful to them. One basic uses of this honey are that it increases the efficacy of any potion. Grade 1 potion's efficacy would increase by 4 times, Grade 2 potion's efficacy will increase 3 times, Grade 3 potion efficacy would increase 2 times and Grade 4 potion's efficacy would be increased by 1 time respectively. Although many other factors also include in it but still this a miraculous use. Another it's used is that it can provide life force, this is the main reason why it is so expensive. Taking life force from others is forbidden and if found out then there is an extreme punishment for it. The things that could provide the life force are insanely expensive. If people were to know I had a few drops of daffodil bees honey then I would be in grave danger. With a piece of honeycomb here, the small case capacity is nearly full, I can add most 2 thumb-size things here. Before closing, I trace its runes with my hand, whoever had to craft these runes must be an expert. The runes looked so beautiful that I just want to keep looking at it. Other than touching, I didn't do anything to those runes. One thing I come to know after reading the book about totemic runes that things that involve runes aren't that simple. I closed the box and kept it back inside my storage, thinking to research them if I got the chance. Chapter 157 Dangerous Honey 3. Why the fuck is they making such noise? I shouted as I woke up by the loud noise from outside. I get really angry when someone woke me from sleep, especially before my time of waking up, as there is still 1 hour till the dawn. I got up and started wearing clothes. I want to see why they are making such loud noise so early. It's probably due to monsters, some weird monster or a large number of monsters must have gathered outside the camp, but when I went out of my tent and saw what are they shouting about, a gasp also comes out of my mouth involuntarily. In the beautiful brightness of moonlight, I saw the horrible scene in front of me that I had seen only once a few days ago, but I still dreamed about it. There is no monster outside, or to be accurate, there is no alive monsters outside. Dried husky bodies of monsters could be seen lying on the ground, there is no open space as every single inch of surface filled with bodies. There must be about 10,000 bodies must be there, but that's not the shocking thing. The shocking thing is that there are 2 giant bodies of 2 different monsters. One looked like centipede monster while other is some kind of insect-type monster, which species I can't seem to identify. Both of their height is above 50 meters and had turned yellow as everything had been sucked out of them. Even powerful gigantified monster is able to save them from terrifying daffodil bees. My hand unconsciously went to my right pocket as I looked at the husky dried bodies of poor monsters. Ashlyn. I sigh in her name as I looked at the dried bodies. It's all because of her. If she hadn't stolen the piece of honeycomb from the daffodil bees, these poor monster hadn't had died this horrible way. Although I am quite angry about the dangerous risk Ashlyn took yesterday by stealing a piece of honeycomb from the daffodil bees, but now I am quite happy with the result. If she hadn't stolen from the daffodil bees, the bees wouldn't have come to attack and killed these monsters, saving us a lot of time and efforts to killing them. The only thing I am sad about that the monster cores that I would have gotten fighting these monsters. Today we will 1 hour early, please make your preparation according to it. Rachel's voice boomed across the hall. Those who were sleeping would have definitely woken up hearing her loud announcement. Hearing her announcement, everybody started to make preparation as there are less than 2 hours time. I am quite surprised about one thing though. There were 8 people below specialist grade before we left the main camp for St. Forest. Until today all 8 of them are alive. 2 had leveled up to the specialist stage while 6 is still at private grade. I've noticed many times that when the battle, these 8 people would always hide around the Rachel and first to do the harvesting monster cores when battling about to be over. They are also the ones who are responsible for collecting the monsters core for dinner and helping in making dinner. Freshening up, I went back to my tent and wait for dinner to be ready. Ashlyn is still sleeping comfortably without a sign of waking up. Last night, I thought she would wake up in 2 or maybe 3 hours out of her drunkenness, but it took her 4 hours to get out of the intoxicating effect of the honey. After waking up, she had started to demand food unceremoniously. I really wanted to hit her chubby little face in anger, but gave up after thinking she had stolen such precious honey and gave her the food I specially brought for her. Time passed by. Soon the dinner is ready. I finished dinner and packed my tent in a backpack to leave the camp. Crunch crunch, sound of breaking of bones could be heard from our every step we took. We had just got out of camp and walking on the husky bodies of monster that had been sucked by the daffodil bees. We would have taken a detour a little, but the whole area around our camps are filled with dried husky bodies of monster that will turn into powder or break apart by every step of ours. It feels very weird walking on this kind of dead bodies, as we could clearly see the heart-wrenching expression on each and every monster we passed by. It must be really painful to feel your life force sucked apart while you are still alive and experiencing it? Jill asked in a soft voice as I looked monster bodies. I nodded without saying anything. One can't imagine how much pain they have felt. It must be akin to being your soul tearing from your body. No living being should ever have their life force sucked while they were conscious. Soon we passed the dead bodies of monsters and approached the central part of the core of the Sind forest. I felt anticipation, fear, and excitement as I approached the wood. Just 3 days. I have to survive 3 days in this woods, and on the 4th day, I would in West Blood sleeping in my tiny apartment, but it will not be easy. In these 3 days, I will fight the strongest monsters I've fought before, and if it survived, I will return home with the fortune. Coming back to myself, I took a step into the woods with rest. Walking a few steps inside, I could clearly feel the change in the density of foreign energy and quite surprised by it. I am not surprised by the density of this foreign energy, but surprised how many times dense it is. It is out my expectation. It's no wonder Rachel warned us that monster we will face in 3 days would be stronger and crazy than monsters we faced till now. I gripped my sword tightly and readied myself for any type of danger to come. Chapter 158. Out of Realm. Puck. I slumped on the ground with the monster. This has been a bitter battle. I have never imagined that monsters in Central are this dangerous. We had already lost more than 70 people since yesterday, and many still are fighting the bitter fight. My whole body is riddled with injuries, there's no part that is left unharmed. Drinking the healing potion, I sat comfortably on the ground to let potion take its effect. The fight is still going on, and I am still vigilant of a monster attack. All the monster horde we had encountered in the Central are bipedal monsters, and they are very dangerous but also very helpful in giving precious fighting experience. This experience will be helpful when fighting against humans, although these monsters are dumb and their brain filled with madness, but there is no question about their strength. After 5 minutes, I felt good enough to remove the cores from the monsters' bodies. Normally in this realm, we encountered monsters of same species attacking us in large numbers, and monster of other species won't mix with each other, but in this area everything is different. Here we are receiving attacks from 2 or more racial groups at least, and fight we just fought had 3 different types of monster species, with being more than 10,000 in numbers. I can remove the cores from the 2 monster species with the help of my skill, but the 3rd one is difficult. I have to ask Jill for help to do that. She can easily help me now. Yesterday she had leveled up once again, advancing to the peak level of specialist stage. Her power rose quite a bit, and she had helped me many times during the fight yesterday and today. Today and tomorrow will be my last 2 days in this realm, and if I am able to survive it, I am going home rich. With money will I have after selling the materials I got from this realm, I will able to afford the systematic training of Evolver. I can clearly see the elites of the organization are at a much better level than me despite being the same level. Jill, who was quite inexperienced before coming to this realm, now had become skilled Evolver. I can feel that she could able to beat me if 2 of us fight, it not just because of the ability and skill she possessed, but due to the systematic training she received from the organization since childhood. No amount of experience can fill that gap. Systematic training not only contain combat style, but it is also contained training under various equipment such as gravity chambers. If I had systematic training of the year, I would have had a lot easier time dealing with the monsters. I can see the little tricks and small movement that Jill and others perform during the fight really help them a lot. They some kind of flexibility in a fight that I can't identify and copy. Soon everybody fished harvesting their loot and started moving forward with Super Elite taking the lead. From the experience past few days, I know that any big horde won't attack us for at least 1 to 2 hours, that is enough for my wounds to heal. There are many lone monsters or small group of monster attacked us but all were cut down by us. The scouts are running ahead to search for the safe route as we want to avoid the monsters if possible. Our pace is very quick as we had to reach our destination as soon as possible. Times passed by and had been little more than 2 hours since I thought we would at least not encounter monster horde at least for an hour, but my thoughts were too optimistic as Jerry, who was leading the group, stopped suddenly. Monster is coming. We only when the monster horde is coming and fight is unavoidable. We don't have wait that long. We heard the slight tremor of the earth, that means a large number of monster is coming toward us. A few minutes later we saw the monster first. I was a little relieved thinking only one monster species is attacking us, but soon after another type of monster come out and started attack without waiting. Moo. Growl. Seeing the abilities of 2 monster species, quite peculiar expression appeared on my face. Ones are scarlet color bear which is breathing fire from their mouth, while others are bull monsters which are throwing water jets from their mouth. Elemental monsters are less compared to the normal monsters in this realm, and that minster who can perform mid-range to long-range attack are simply rare, and now I am seeing 2 at the same place. Feeling of little bewilderment, confusion, and iron appear in is obvious. I even wanted to laugh a little on my luck as fighting these monsters will be very tricky. Both monsters quite large in height, 12 meters being shortest while 18 meters are being tallest. The monster had started to while we specialist grade is gripping our sword and waiting for the monster to come to use. With 4 camps merging together, the loose formation had changed little. Now all corporal stage revolvers are at the front and all corporal stage monster will be handled by them while all the specialist monsters will come to use. They will not touch any specialist grade monster, and if any dangerous monster got where it not supposed to be, it will be killed by super elites. The corporal grade will act like the first layer of defense which will filter specialist grade monster for us, and while if any corporal level monster got in, it will quickly be killed by Rachel or any other super elites. I activated all my weapons and started circulating moves of exercise, seeing the monster coming toward us from distance. This fight will be very tricky. Both monster species are able to perform both close range and long range attacks. Chapter 159 Out of Realm 2. Moo. Growl. With a deafening sound, the specialist grade monsters came toward us. Soon a group of specialist monsters is separated and started to attack the evolvers. 3 monsters ran toward me with furious expression in their faces. Of the 3 monsters, 1 scarlet fire bear while other 2 water bulls. Whoosh whoosh. All 3 of them launched a long-range attack. Suddenly everything turned slow and I can see water jet and fire attack forming in their mouth with very slow speed. While everything around me had started to run slow motion including my body, but my thoughts process is unaffected. This happens to some time from childhood when I am on adrenaline, though it did not happen always when I am in adrenaline, it happens most of the time. Some people experience this very less and some people experience it, but it is not useful as others would think. It does not affect that much as I am seeing in everything in S. I can't change much as my body's reaction is too slow to do much anything except for the seeing trajectory of the attack. I can't act on much as my strength is too low to act according to it. If I had 8 seals in my body right now, I would able to react fast and kill these monsters fast. I laugh at myself thinking that, if I had the power of seals I would have directly run and killed them directly before they could launch an attack. Seeing 3 incoming attack of water and fire, I ducked down and used my shield above my head to defend myself from a change in attacks. Boom! All 3 attacks had missed me. Although this monster has lethal long-range attacks, they need few moments to ready that attack and you are easily able to guess the trajectory of those attacks from their mouths. And it's not like they are crafty and smart like Azure monkeys. There is another thing which helps me dodge the attack of these monsters, which are their big size. Due to their 14-15 meter size, there is a lot of space to dodge their many attacks, especially a range one. Growl. Scarlet Fire Bear came toward me growling as its claws started to burn with scarlet fire. I am quite surprised seeing that, but I quickly reacted. First Tide. I activated the power of the First Tide to dodge the incoming Fire Claw attack from Scarlet Fire Bear and Water Jet attacks from the two Water Bulls. Bang! Fuck! I cursed as grazed by fiery claws of Scarlet Fire Bear while I was dodging water jets. The injury I received could not be said light, but it is not serious either, but I can't mull over the injury as another attack is coming. This has been a reality ever since we entered the central region. Most of the monster I faced are B-grade. Mad and idiot they may be, but they are extremely strong. If two or more B-grade monster of the same level attack you, it became very hard to attack and defend. Despite having night grade skill, I don't get a chance to use, and there is barely any chance available to attack them. My strategy to kill these monsters is first to observe them carefully and note their strength and weakness, like how many types of attack they perform, the interval between their attacks, coordination between them, etc. After observing everything I will attack. This is the best method I can think of. Many people around fighting with the edge of life-death like me, a simple mistake on your part and you will lose life to the monster. My former teammate had lost his life like that. He was literally crushed by the monster. I clearly remember his pace like a body on the ground, he simply crushed by a monster big paw. I saw much death since I've entered this realm that I become numb to it, and I don't like this feeling. One has to have empathy left in themselves no matter how many death one had seen. The monster I am fighting had formed simple coordination me that only two monster attack at the same time and last one attack right after when either two monster finishes attacking. And the most hateful thing about three of these monsters that these monster. The long-range attack had no resting time. They can launch next attack right after the previous attack without waiting for anything. I was hoping that there are a few seconds of interval time between each attack launch, but there is simply none. I have seen only 1 second of rest when they are charging them skills, but that can't consider an interval time. Boom. I dodged another tow water jet's attack and can feel droplets of water hitting my back after water jet's attacks had crashed a few inches beside me. The only thing I relieve about since entering this central area that my night grade skill does work without a problem as long as it is not peak level specialist grade monsters. I am very thankful that I've got this night grade skill, otherwise it would have been really difficult for me to kill the monsters here. Growl. Scarlet Fire growled again as I launched at Fiery Claw again. This monster has a serious anger issue. Another monster had lost their mind in madness, but this one definitely lost in anger. Even if it was no foreign energy that affects them, it would have still behaved same way it behaves right now, and I am very happy seeing that. At starting when we starting fighting, the monster was madly attacking me, but they were careful not to obstruct each other attack. I still remember what Rachel said about these monsters before we had entered the Sind Forest, that these monster may be mad but not an idiot. If you consider them idiots, then you would surely lose your life. It is true. I fought many monsters since entering this forest, but I rarely able to use one monster against others. It is very hard to use these monster to obstruct attack of anther monsters, but there are always exceptions, and this Scarlet Fire Bear is an exception. As it is barely able to launch an attack on me, it started to get angry, and in its anger, it started to interfere a little with attacks water bulls which are attacking from behind. I just have to keep stroking its anger, till it gets completely lost in, and that time, I will attack this monster in one-shot kill. Thud, a well arrow flew above me and struck the monster not far away from. My luck is not that good. That monster I am fighting will be killed by Rachel. It only happens 2 times ever since we entered this forest. Taking sigh internally, I kept fighting, trying anger this Scarlet Fire Bear, and it started working as it started to obstruct the attacks of its partners little by little. I just have to wait few more minutes and I will get the perfect chance to attack it. Shake shake. The ground started to shake loudly and expression of fear appeared on my face. Why did they appear quickly? I question internally as I make my mind to attack no matter the risk. Gigantified monsters are coming, and from the shaking, it looked like this time there more than 5. Gigantified monsters are not a problem as they handled by super elites, the problem is with them, they brought another layer monster. The number of monsters I am fighting will immediately double after they came. There is another problem that super elite busy would be dealing with them for a few minutes and there would hardly in rescue. This is precious when most of the casualty occurs and shows that without a super elite our whole group of near 4,000 people could simply wipe single horde. Growl. Whoosh. The scarlet fire bear growled and attacked me with its fiery claws, but this time instead of dodging backward or to the side, I ran toward it directly. The monster has a little surprise-like in its eyes, but it didn't affect its attack. As claws about to reach me, I duck and rolled toward its legs while eating 2 pieces of the Treyant heart from my sleeve and activating mask on my head while deactivating my boots. I did not escape unharmed from that claws as my whole back had been seared by fire. If anyone to look at my back, they will find burned marks all over it. Fire strike. I shouted both for confidence and manage the pain of my back as I attack water bulls that are attacking the water jet straight at me. Chapter 160 Out of Realm 3. Fire strike. I shouted both for confidence and manage the pain of my back as I attack water bulls that are attacking the water jet straight at me. Poochie. Before water jet could come out of its mouth, my sliver fire bolt squarely struck him on its head, killing it one shot. Boom. Thud. Its partner death clearly surprised other bull as it lost focus and its water jet missed me by an inch. That clearly surprised me, because I already had my shield ready and 2 pieces of treat hearts dissolving in my body to heal any injury I received. Fire strike. I attack it again as I'm not going to miss the god given the opportunity as seeing next water jet forming in my mouth. Bang, but before I could see if my attack struck or not, a big sledgehammer-type fiery attack hit squarely on my body and I flew away like a broken kite. I am not surprised receiving this attack and kind of expected it as this was the main reason. I ate 2 pieces of Treyant heart. I always knew that after I launched my fire strike, I would receive an attack from behind by Scarlet Fire Bear. That is why I activated my mask and ate 2 pieces of the Treyant heart so that the mask could protect my head and 2 pieces of Treyant's heart could heal any injury I receive. On the other hand, me laughing second fire strike is purely by seeing the chance. I already had enough mana as 2 pieces inside me recharged my mana within the second and that other water bull also missed its attack due to being a shock. It was the perfect chance. The only sad thing is that as I finished launching my attack, I was hit by the fiery claw of Scarlet Fire Bear which flown my body like a broken kite. It may look it had taken a minute at least, but it's all happened in 4 seconds as now my body is still shooting through the air. I am surprised seeing my body hadn't clashed against any monster or tree before falling a little away from a fight. I would take few seconds to Scarlet Fire Bear to chase after me. I hope it would be enough to heal my injuries relatively. Currently, every part of my body had been broken by Scarlet Fire Bear attacks, but it is rapidly healing due to the refreshing energy of the Treyant's heart. As the second passed, my body started to gain the movement as I am able to move my body little by little. Seeing that, I started activating my artifact one by one. Despite the crushing attack of the monster, I didn't lose any of my artifacts. This time I was well prepared and had an iron grip on my artifacts, especially my sword. Growl. Moo. My heart skipped in fear hearing the loud noise of the monsters. The giant monster had arrived and they had probably brought a new layer of a monster with them. The giant monsters I am not scared about as they will be killed super elite within minutes, but what scared me most that new group of monster they brought with them. I hope no new monster would attack until I am relatively healed. The earlier attack can also be some sort of blessing as it flung me away at a distance. To reach me, that Scarlet Fire Bear has crossed thick battleground. I hope it got dead in a way or at least injured heavily, but I know that is likely unlikely as no one has time attack extra monster which isn't attacking them. They would too happy seeing it going far away from them. I am little away from the main battle but not that far away as I could clearly see that the battle is happening in front of me. I just hope that any minster gaze didn't fall on me and it leaves its fight to attack me. As I am able to move my limbs, I crawl towards the shrubs that are not far away from me. If hiding in the shrubs could buy me precious time for healing, I am ready to do that. I laid in the shrub while still keeping the eye on the battle that is happening in front of me. It's been 20 seconds since giant monsters had arrived and I could see a clear increase in monsters, but I could also hear loud screams of gigantic monsters as they were taking the beating from the super elite. Seconds passed by as I tracked battle as well as my healing progress with bated breath, and soon I am healed enough that could move my limbs freely with feeling slight pain. I stood in a coaching position in herbs while keeping my sword ready. I am now relatively healed that I attack. As soon as I am healed enough, I will join the battle again. Growl. Few seconds passed when I heard the growl, and not soon after two scarlet fire bear comes into my view. It came. And it even brought a friend with it. Sniff sniff, I started to sniff around to follow my scent. Every monster in this forest had a relatively good nose, and if they are keen on finding you, they can definitely do it no matter how hard you hide. Fire strike. I attack after gulping piece of Treant heart. Before the other scarlet fire bear is dead before it could tell what hit it as its body fell with the thud. Growl. My old growled loudly. It ran toward me, anger filled its eyes. Whatever madness that had in it, is replaced by the anger. I smiled seeing it coming toward it. I could have killed this as easily as other one, but I kept it alive to make it even angrier. The angrier it is, the more mistake it will make, and I would be able to easily kill it. I don't think it will take me more than 2 minutes to kill it with my night grade skill, and I was right. Thud, with the thud its body fell on the ground. I killed it within a minute as it made simple mistake pouncing on me, making itself an easy flying target. Drinking the potion and resting for while I walked toward the main battlefield to help as the battle is still going on in the full swing.